In this video, I'm going to teach you how to vanish any small object in short sleeves with no gimmicks and no editing trickery, and it leaves you with completely empty hands. This is the Slam Dunk Vanish. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing good, and today I'm going to teach you the Slam Dunk Vanish. This is perfect for social media. This is a vanish for the camera that requires no editing at all, and it can be done with coins, keys, Sharpie caps, literally any small object that you can fit in a fist. So this was something that I created about 4 or 5 years ago, I want to say, and the reason I created it was quite simply a creative challenge to myself. I wanted to get as close as possible to what I consider to be the perfect vanish, of literally showing a small object, closing my hand, and then it's gone. That would be the ideal vanish, right? That's what we're all chasing in terms of vanishing objects. But unfortunately, we're only magicians and we're not wizards, so we have to fit within the realms of reality. There have to be certain constraints in order for the method to be realistic. Obviously, if you wanted to just do video editing, then that method is entirely possible. But for me, in this particular trick, I set myself the rule of no video editing. I also wanted it to be done in short sleeves with any object and no gimmicks as well. No gimmicks at all. I literally wanted an object to just disappear without any pulleys or reels or strings or anything like that. Just a plain and simple vanish. So, with those rules in mind, I ended up with the Slam Dunk Vanish. I went through a few different iterations of it and a few different experimental ideas that didn't make the cut. Ultimately, the method I landed on is something that I'm happy with, but it's not ideal, and I think it's okay to admit that. I don't think, sometimes magicians sort of claim that their method is the best method ever, but here I'm just gonna be open about it. I don't think this is the best method ever. I'm sure there is a better solution out there, but this is what I've come up with, and I want to share it with you. To teach you this then, and the way I recommend you performing this, I'm going to use a Sharpie cap, because that is the perfect object that I've found. After experimenting with a lot of different objects, Sharpie caps just work, and there's a specific reason why I think these work above the other objects that I've tried, like coins and keys and elastic bands. The Sharpie cap is superior for the Slam Dunk Vanish, and you're also going to want, and here's where the secret is exposed, you're also going to want a t-shirt with a pocket. So this t-shirt has quite a nice pocket, blends in with the rest of the design of the t-shirt, just a plain colour I would recommend, and it's got quite a nice big pocket there. So change into a t-shirt with a pocket, because that is going to be necessary for the method to work. Alright, that is better. The method of the trick then is essentially, you're going to be launching the object into that pocket without the camera seeing it. Oh. I was going to say I've got a coloured light at the back here, but it's broken. Fear not, I have a spare. So, where was I? It took a good 20 minutes before I had a good, usable take. 20 minutes of filming this over and over and over in order to have one that was doable. And then after that, I just had to keep trying in order to get it absolutely perfect. Although it was usable, I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to videos, and so I just wanted it to be right. So you're gonna have to film a lot. But don't let that put you off, because it is a fun process. Also, when you are filming, big tip is to just cover up the floor, because the last thing you want to hear over and over again is this. That's going to drive you mad. So either film on carpet, which I do not have in this room, or what I did is just lie cushions on the ground, and I even had a coat on the ground as well, just to have extra coverage so it had a soft landing, because the sound is going to drive you bonkers. So get all of that prepared, set the camera up about eye level, maybe a bit lower. I am actually going to lower the camera just a little bit. I think this is a more sort of comfortable performance zone. All of these little tweaks really, really help. Make sure the focus is set. I'm just preparing my performance environment, making sure everything is perfect. Just sort of do a few tests of lining up so that I can get my hands in front of the pocket. And yeah, here comes the big one. You're just gonna go for it. And guess what? You are going to drop the object. The object is going to miss the pocket numerous times. Do not be worried about that. This is a trick for the camera, so use that. Do multiple takes. There is no fear of getting it wrong here, because you can just do it as much as you want and pick the take that's right. So let's go for it. Also, nice little tip is just make sure that the pocket isn't sort of stuck closed or anything. Just sort of make sure that it is available to be open. And I'm gonna go for a take. Chances are I'm gonna drop it. Whatever happens, I'll leave it in. So yeah, here we go. Yep, dropped it. I display the object to the camera, which we're imagining is here. It comes behind the hand like so. I throw, it's in the pocket, it landed in the pocket. I now pretend to grab this. My whole attention is on this hand. The one thing you can't do, although I might do it in explanation purposes just to speed up the process, the one thing you can't do is look at the object go in the pocket. That is just a dead giveaway. Do not do it. I know it's really tempting to keep your eye on the object that's moving, but you're just gonna throw it and all the attention is here. Then the vanish happens. That can happen as slow or as quickly as you want. Something that I quite like to do is have it vanish here. Then the audience gets suspicious about this hand and I open that as well. So it's almost for a second like they're one step ahead of me, then I open this hand and I prove that it's not there as well. I show my hands are very clearly empty. I want that to be an image that sets in their mind like, oh, his hands really were empty. It wasn't behind his hand or anything like that. What you can do is rather than just use your hand, you can use another object to provide more shield so that this movement of me trying to throw it in the pocket is less obvious. You can do that. The reason I'm not doing it is because at the end of the trick, I really want the image of just empty hands. That is the image that I'm aiming for. And if I have a bag or an envelope or a bit of paper that I'm pretending to put the object in, that's just another thing I need to prove is empty. The actual hard part isn't getting it in the pocket. The hard part is making sure that it's not seen on camera. Because quite a lot of the time when you watch the footage back, there's going to be a little glimpse of something sort of arcing through the air. There's going to be some tiny little like sign that it went in the pocket. So just watch the footage back, go frame by frame if you have to, slow motion, really analyze the footage and be critical of yourself. Just a quick word of advice before I wrap up the tutorial. Do not try this with elastic bands. I thought it would be a good idea because it would eliminate the motion of me throwing anything, because I could just ping the elastic band into the pocket. I thought it would be a good idea. It wasn't a good idea. It was it was painful, it was stressful, it was just a terrible time. So don't try it with elastic bands, but feel free to try it with keys if you want to. The one thing I would say is, with things like coins and keys, the reason I prefer a Sharpie cap is because it's light. It's got barely any mass to it at all, even though it's a big object. So it'll plop into the pocket with no movement. Whereas something like a key, there's a definite sort of like sinking when the object lands in the pocket, there's a definite movement. And unless you manage to time your hand movement to the object reaching the bottom of the pocket, your audience are gonna see that the pocket moved, and that's a sign that something happened. So be careful with heavier objects, because that is a real risk. But other than that, have fun with it. Honestly, this is something that you're gonna have fun performing and practicing. And I think that just about does it for the Slam Dunk Vanish. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I certainly enjoyed teaching this, and it'll be interesting to hear your thoughts on this in the comments down below. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to click the thumbs up button down below on your way out. I know it's easy to forget, but it's massively appreciated. And if you are new to the channel, then consider subscribing. Here on the channel, I talk about magic, react to it, teach it, all things magic. So if you're a magician or you like magic, make sure to subscribe. I've said the word magic too much, so I'm gonna end the video here, and I will see you in the next one.